move to item 21. Ms. Myers?
Hold on for a minute. Let me find it. Item 21. Which one is that? Can you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it for you. It's repeal Code Section 8-1-23, City Restrooms, and 8-1-24, Public Elimination. Do you want to read the recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very
No problem.
much.
The recommendation is that the City Council adopt an ordinance repealing City Code Section 8-1-23 and 8-1-24. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Myers, do you want to speak on it?
Yes, well, these are two of the four ordinances that our consultant and our task force recommended we repeal. I've had a lot of members of the press and public especially concerned about the restroom ordinance, as people seem to feel that it infringes on what people normally do in restrooms. And so the other one is the public elimination ordinance. There are statutes which address, indecent exposure and that type of thing. So that ordinance was recommended for repeal also by the task force and by Mr. Marbut. So that I'm bringing their recommendations forward to council. Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion from council? Councilman Baer.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is my understanding that the mayor's office does not oppose this. Is that correct, Mr. Barker?
I'm not sure. Let me ask Mr. Olson if he's aware of the.
Good evening, Council. No, to respond on behalf of Mr. Barker, has the mayor taken a official position on this? The answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Spencer?
Thank you. I believe we should follow the recommendations that were given to us by Dr. Marbut, and as strange as it may seem to some people in, let's say, citizens in the audience that haven't been following these issues as they first developed and then sort of matured, and now as they, what I predict will be sunset, we have learned we really have learned that we as a city, as a municipality, as a community, we have a legal obligation to provide alternatives that very much affect the behavior that we are trying, or that this ordinance is basically addressing. And that until we as a community provide alternative options that are somewhat barrier-free to all members of society, then we have no legal right to criminalize what we have tried to define as unpermittable or unlawful. And I think it's been an educational process for me. I've tried my best to educate fellow members in the community. It's been a challenging process, and I think, though, in the end, if we can, through this workshop and through following some of the directions or recommendations that were given to us, we have an opportunity to showcase Pensacola as being solution-oriented as it relates to addressing those that are impoverished and are homeless. And it's a unique opportunity, and I challenge all of us to position Pensacola to be first in the state to address some of these situations.
Thank you. Mr. Wingate.
I'd like to see the city of Pensacola build some public restrooms so that people that are going up and down the streets will have a facility that they can go to use, and not be concerned about public elimination because we would have facilities that would be there for people to use if they need it.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? I have a few cards from some audience members. First speaker is Nathan Monk.
Elimination station.
I think that it is very important that we not only do away with these particular ordinances as our city has grown into an understanding of exactly what they limit, but we also do need to move towards a solution that these ordinances were attempting to, address. And so I would like to just throw my support behind the need for public restrooms because, as the wonderful children book says, everyone poops. So we've got to find a solution before we end up having a bigger problem. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Michael Kimberl.
Thank you again for listening to me, Council. Michael Kimberl, 801 East DeSoto. I'm sure there's no surprise where I stand on these two issues. I'm just going to go with thank you to Councilwoman Myers and Councilman Baer for voting against the first ordinance. I know the second ordinance went unanimous, and I even felt weird talking against, speaking out in favor of public eliminations. But I also want to give a thank you in advance to all the council members that vote against any of these homeless hate laws, as I like to call them. So thank you to all of y'all that help abolish this tonight.
Thank you. Next is Alistair McKenzie.
I would like to say thank you very much for the comments that I heard here tonight. It gives me hope about this city. And it also reminds me that, Martin Luther King said some smart things every once in a while. And one thing he said was, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And I implore you to adopt by striking these ordinances down. Thank you very much for your wisdom, and I appreciate the city's change of heart.
Thank you. Ms. Doris Haynes.
Good evening, Councilman, City Council Chairman. I came down to, I was watching you all on TV, and I know you all didn't pass the ordinance for the homeless and the and also the panhandlers. You made that motion, and I thank God that you all did the right thing. And another thing I do want to say with Councilman Wingate, Mr. Wingate, the public, we do need restrooms, public restrooms, and also, if I may say, that we also need bus, when the bus stop for people, we need the, it's raining, and they just have, when it's rain, they have people standing out on the streets waiting for the bus. And we need something that would cover those people, just like on Brent Lane, they have one, by Sacred Heart Hospital. They have the place where you can go in and sit in and wait on the bus. So that's another issue, but I do want to stress that to the councilman, that we do need that, the cover for, people coming in, riding on the bus, the city bus. And thank you all so much for not passing that. We talked about the panhandle before. This issue came up before. It's been a while. And, my husband is also a veteran. And I heard one of the young men say that veterans, it's most of the people that are out begging and panhandling, they're African American. Well, you know, I look out, and when I ride down the street, I see Caucasian whites, and I see the Hispanic people, and it's more than just the black people that are out there begging. It's also the whites, too. And I just wanted to let you all know that. I know you've seen that, and we got to do something about it. And I mean, this BP money that Pensacola is is coming into Pensacola, we need to use that money if we have to for the veterans, because we love our vets, and they love us. And this country that's what this country is all about, you know, helping our veterans. And we love y'all, and thank you so much for giving me this time. And I had to come up here. And Officer David Alexander, thank you so much for the information that you gave me during the question that I asked about the police officers. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you.
Okay. That was our last speaker. Or is there any more discussion on council? Yes, Councilman Wood.
As a footnote to what the last speaker said, Florida League of Cities, with many of my colleagues sitting beside me here, last year allocated $17 million to homelessness and getting some type of resolution. So if any of you have any contact with any state legislators, Florida Senate or Florida House Representative, please, number one, thank them for doing that. And number two, ask them to A, continue, and B, increase the amount. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, please vote. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk.
Proposed ordinance number 09-15, an ordinance repealing sections 8-1-23 and 8-1-24 of the Code of the City of Pensacola, Florida, repealing municipal regulation of city restrooms and the Act of Public Elimination, providing for severability, repealing clause, providing an effective date.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0.